with a first impressions video on a Civivi. Now this knife has actually been around for a while, but it's one of the most requested knives that I've had this year for a couple of reasons. So first is the knife itself, the model, but second is the particular version that I've got. So this kind of knocks out two birds with one stone. If you've already seen my top 10 knives of 2019 or my best of 2019, I think I have more than 10 knives in the video, but if you've already seen that video, you may know what I'm talking about. Let's give a quick look at what comes with this package before we get into the knife itself. So we've got a nice pouch that we're used to seeing from WE and Civivi. We've got a sticker there, a little bit of information, microfiber cloth, and the knife does come in this bag. You can see the bag is empty because I've got the knife sitting right over here, which we'll take a look at now. So what we have is the Civivi Elementum in the Damascus. So take a look at that blade. I've got to say, guys, the Damascus on this is really, really nicely done. Now, I can't say this as a rule. I've scrolled through a number of the Damascus offerings from Civivi. Recently, I'll give you one example of this. I took a look at the backlash, and when I zoomed in on the blade, the Damascus they were using for that backlash just did not look this good. This, however, looks extremely nice, and I've seen a number of these Elementums in Damascus, and I've got to say all the ones that I've seen have been very nicely finished and have a really nice pattern. If you take a look at that pattern, it's almost a raindrop pattern. It's not quite right, but wow, is it ever a nice pattern. Really distinct. The etching is very well done. It's nicely polished. It just they've done a really, really good job on this particular Damascus. Now, as I say, I've seen a couple where I didn't really like the way the Damascus came out, but this one I find very, very impressive. This is the knife, and the way I can kill two birds with one stone is, one, this model, the Elementum. A number of you guys have asked about it, have suggested that I might like it. You guys know I don't like small knives, so you said, look, there's one small knife I think you might really enjoy. It's the Elementum. A number of you have said that. And in a related note, okay, I've had quite a few requests to get my hands on one of the Damascus Civivis. A number of you have said, hey, how are the Damascus ones? Are they worth it? And these fall into an interesting category. So we'll talk about that as well when I get to my sort of conclusions here, my overall thoughts at the end. First off, very, very popular model. These are actually pretty hard to get. They seem to sell out as quickly as they come in stock. Right now, as of the filming of this video, these are in stock at White Mountain Knives. You can go over there, use my discount code SHARPSTUFF to pick one up, and you'll save yourself 10%. So I think this particular one is $89 and the regular ones are like $50. So you'll save either $5 on the regular or $9 on one of these guys. Again, I don't know how many they have, so if you go rushing over there and they don't have any in stock, I'll apologize in advance. That seems to be the way it goes. But hopefully anyone who wants one is able to get their hands on one and able to use that discount code to save yourself a little money. If you have to go elsewhere, obviously you won't be able to use the discount code. So moving on, let's do a quick rundown on the materials here. So obviously it's the Damascus blade, and these Civivis are using an interesting Damascus that's stainless and quite nicely done, as I said in the case of this particular knife. It's a liner lock, which is a surprise to no one, heavily milled out. Take a look in there, you can see that nice heavy milling. It is on bearings. The lock is nice and accessible. We have laminate carbon fiber. So this is G10 with a carbon fiber laminate over it. It looks kind of nice. I'm not in love with this. I would have liked to see full carbon fiber. Nice deep carry clip, and worth pointing out, we've got flat head screws, which are really, really nice. That's a good touch, and that's what you want to see there under that very deep carry clip. Knife is a little smaller than I normally want. It's 7 inches overall with a 3-inch blade and a 4-inch handle, about 3¼ inches of grip area. That's a little smaller than I like to see, but I have to say I can get 4 fingers on here, and it's pretty comfortable in hand. And there's enough space up here that even, if you kind of move up, you can sort of choke up on this knife just a little bit. So I like all of that. As I've said, now let me explain a couple of things here. First of all, I don't mind that this is a little smaller than I normally carry because to me, this is not a heavy duty, hard use type of knife. This is more a gentleman's knife, a wedding carry, something like that. And there are a couple of things that I want to say about that and why I think these kind of land in a really nice spot. So the Civivi or the Damascus Civivis I think are nice because to me, a Damascus blade limits the utility of your knife. Okay, so I don't want to buy, I don't know, a Koenig Arius or something from Riyadh or a Chris Reeve in Damascus because those knives that I spend a lot of money on, I want them to be knives that I can feel comfortable using and carrying. And as soon as you add that Damascus element, that restricts the utility on that knife for me. All right, it really makes it more in the pocket jewelry category than the utility tool category. And so for that reason, I'm not interested in a $500 knife with Damascus. However, an $89 knife in Damascus is very compelling because at that price point, I don't mind doing something stupid that messes up the finish. I don't mind this being a knife that I'm not going to carry very often. I don't mind the limited utility of the knife. And really, even the standard version of this is not going to be what I would call a hard use tactical blade. It's going to be more of a EDC or gentleman's type knife. I will say this, the hollow grind is so good and it makes this nice and thin behind the edge. You guys know it's well attested that I'm a huge fan of hollow grinds, and this one has a nice hollow grind, making it nice and thin behind the edge, which to me is a huge win. Um, Again, does the Damascus restrict the utility of it? A little bit, but this is not a knife that I see myself taking out to the forest or using to defend my life or anything like that. It's a light use knife that I'm going to carry for weddings and that kind of thing. So I think this works really, really well. And of all the Damascus knives that Civivi has, and they have a bunch of them out there, the one I've consistently seen the nicest styling in the Damascus is the Elementum. So this is the one that I would lean toward. If not, I mean, whichever one you're looking at, all I would say is this: do your research. Make sure you take a look at a lot of pictures. It's really questionable whether or not a particular retailer will let you have your pick unless you're going to go into a store, right? Otherwise, if you're buying this online, you're going to be kind of stuck with what you get. So do your research, take a look at a bunch of them, and make sure that they have a fairly consistent pattern that you like. Certainly with the Elementums, that's definitely what I found. So I've got to say, overall, I'm really, really impressed with this. I'm very happy that I picked this up, and even if it was largely because I knew you guys wanted to see it, this is pretty cool. And the action is nice. The Damascus is very, very nice. The only thing I don't love here is the laminate carbon fiber. And I've heard a couple of you guys talk about requesting other scales for their Elementum from Civivi, and I may actually do that with this knife. We'll see what happens. I'll update you on that. If I do change out the scales, what I may do is wait until they actually arrive to do the full review so that I can kind of give you a full discussion of the whole experience. Yeah, overall, very, very impressive. Now, let me say this, guys. I just have to. I would like this a little more if it was bigger. If this was a 3.5-inch blade and around an 8-inch knife, I don't think this would work in a huge knife. But if this was just at that 8-inch mark, I think that would be a bit of an improvement. I know not everyone would agree with me on that, but I would like to see this a little bit bigger. That's just my own personal bias. So yeah, great knife. Totally impressive, and I can absolutely understand why so many people like this, and so many reviewers have talked with great enthusiasm about how awesome it is. And I really think now that I have one in hand and I've got to play with it just a little bit, I don't think I was wrong to bring this up in my best of 2019. I really think this might be one of the best models Civivi has done, even if it's not the best one for me because it's a little on the small side. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to use that discount code. Look forward to the full review here, and let me know if you're able to get one and what your thoughts are as well. down in the comments. We'll talk to you soon.